All right. So I'm here with the Wilsons. Appreciate you guys hopping on. I guess you mind introducing yourself a little bit?
Oh, good. Um, Jac Wilson, football player, played for Middletown High School, committed to Lock Haven for football and wrestling.
And I'm his dad, Tim.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. Obviously, it's been we're wrapping up the process and everything like that. I know you committed pretty recently, and yeah, just kind of obviously appreciate you guys coming on and everything. I know you said that you committed to Lock Haven, and I guess mind giving everybody kind of like a breakdown of what your process is like, either Tim or Jack, either one of you guys can go with that of just kind of start to finish how things went.
Well, when we first contacted you, it was about a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
and we were kind of behind the eight ball, because we hadn't started earlier, and I mean, from my opinion, the way things were going, was we were kind of shooting for D1 football or bust. Um, Jack doesn't quite meet the measurables in terms of height for FCS. He had some interest in D1, but he went on some visits and everything, and he went to Lock Haven, and they seemed to really like him and really want him. And then they came up with the offer that he could also wrestle at Lock Haven, which I think was, the the final thing that really sold Jack on Lock Haven, because he could play both sports. And Lock Haven is D1 in wrestling too. So, I mean, it just seems like it was a really good fit. It's only about 3 hours away from us. And I really like the PSAC. I was thinking all along, if he's got to play D2, PSAC's where he wants to play. So everything worked out really well for us.
Yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, I guess in terms of, I guess we'll kind of touch on that. You mentioned like the measurable part. I know that was kind of one thing that came up. Um, I definitely think like, and, you heard me say this plenty of times, Jack, like you're a great player. I always tell people when I talk about your story, I'm like, there's going to be no surprise if, you do extremely well at Lock Haven and then transfer up. Like to me, you're that kind of guy. And unfortunately the measurable part was like a big piece that like you continue here. Even if one coach was like, "Hey, I really love you," the other coach would be like, "Hey, this just isn't happening." I don't know if you guys mind expanding on that, like sharing some more insights into that.
Well, well, I got a story. I don't want to dominate everything, but he went up to Syracuse's camp, and he performed really well. And after the camp was over with, the linebackers coach, went up to him, and he's like, "Man," he's like, you 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 were awesome today, and we really like you." He's like, "But you're not 6 feet tall. You're 5'11", and we don't recruit linebackers unless they're 6 feet tall." So, I mean, they a lot of schools, we've come to find out, have their hard line measurables that, no matter how good you are, and Jack is really, really good, they're just not going to they're not going to offer somebody that doesn't meet those measurables, because the coaches that are making the offers, their lifestyle and their job is kind of on the line. If they offer a guy that doesn't have the measurables and he washes out, then it looks pretty bad on him. If he offers a guy that does have the measurables and they wash out, well, at least he had the measurables. He had what we were looking for.
Yeah,
So that's kind of what it was. But Jack is really, really happy with his decision, and he can't wait to get up there to Lock Haven and start doing his thing.
100%. Yeah, no, in terms of working with us, I know like, yeah, it's been a year and a half, which is crazy. Time flies because I think it was probably I think it was after your season finished last season, the junior year, if I'm not mistaken, around that time.
Yeah.
Um, I guess how did you guys come across from us and kind of Like how what decided to make you guys, come and join with us and whatnot, work with us?
So, so we saw like a bunch of people that were like doing similar things that you were doing, but like weren't coming up with like a bunch of results. So I mean, it was kind of like we were looking around and looking around for to see who would help, and then like my dad sent me you, and we were like, this one, he looks the most legit out of all of them, so might as well put the money into this guy and work out.
And I mean, I went into it very skeptical, because there's a million people out there looking to rip you off. And I mean, I came across your stuff, and one thing that I really liked about you when I was watching your videos on Instagram and everything is you give out information for free. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, if this guy's just like giving this stuff out, and then we talk to you, and we kind of build a relationship, and it was just a good fit, I think.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. In terms of things, in terms of working with us, I guess what you feel like that process was like in terms of things like how did you feel like it went or all that kind of stuff on there?
I mean, it went really well. I mean, you guys did everything you said you were going to do, and you sent the sorry, we're having a dog issue. We sent you sent his highlight videos out every week, and then his mid-season stuff, and I mean, you did everything you said you were going to do, and you can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, no, in terms of, I guess, kind of the with the process and everything like that. Is there anything like specific that you guys felt like happened that would be useful to other families at all?
Well, you know, um, the recruiting game's different now.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, it was like, they came to your high school and they found you, and that was it. And then he's got an older brother who went through the recruiting process, and we reached out to some schools and everything. But now, I mean, you have to recruit the schools now. I mean, if you want to be seen, you have to get your stuff out there. They don't have the time to just go looking around unless you're a 4 or 5 star. They don't have the time to go out and find people, and you have to get your film in front of them and put it in front of them in a good light. And that was another thing that I thought you did really well was you explained to us how to arrange his highlights in terms of putting certain plays up front and things like that. So I think that was a huge help for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it's a lot to there's just the whole process can be a lot, everything from the highlights to the Twitter stuff to the messaging to the camps, the visits, all that kind of stuff. So definitely can be a lot.
And
Um,
the other thing I wanted to say was, you were always available for us. When even if it was just, hey, Trenton, I got a question. You were there for us, and like, going through the whole thing, like, um, he got offers to go for official visits. Well, I didn't know if it was an official visit or not. I'm like, hey, Trenton, what do you think about this? And you're like, yeah, look, it looks like an official visit to me. So, I mean, that was a big help too. Just, just the day to day, the questions and stuff.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, cool. And I guess in terms of things like, is there anything you guys would say to anybody that's maybe watching this, like booked in a call with us or maybe think about working with us at all? And say to them in their position?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I mean, just book a call with Trenton and listen to what he has to say. I mean, that doesn't cost you anything. And I mean, I would highly recommend him, and we've been nothing but happy with the service he's provided us. And it's just kind of a relief that now we're at the end of it. I mean, you think that recruiting is going to be fun, but it's not. It's a lot of work, and I can't even imagine the work it would have taken if we didn't have your assistance. So, thank you, and we really appreciate what you did for us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know Jack, you weren't necessarily the biggest fan of the recruiting process either. So
No, I just want to go play football.
I know that's your thing big time. So no, I appreciate it a ton, guys. Is there anything else you'd like to say, to anybody else watching, just in terms of advice or anything that to leave them with?
I can't think of anything. Just thank you, and we appreciate the relationship that we built with you, and it's as much as I dislike the recruiting thing, you made it a little bit more palatable. Just in terms of getting answers. Because a lot of people don't know. I didn't know, and I've been around for a while. I've been around the football game for a while, but you explained everything to us, and it went as smoothly as it could go.
Yeah, 100%. Well, no, I appreciate it a ton, guys, and no, it was a blessing to work with you. So yeah, if you happen to be watching this and you're wanting to work with us, or you booked in a call already, you can do so somewhere on this page wherever you're watching it at. But yeah, again, appreciate you guys hopping on and sharing.